I didn't know what to expect when I came in George Mason. I was transferring out of Emerson College, and I just walked in the door, and I can't say how incredible they were. I walked in as the only non-acting major in the school, and so I walked in, they said, well, do you want to stage manage the first show? Did you want to intern in the shop? And they gave me every opportunity I could imagine. So I was practically living in this building. I wanted to learn everything, and I think this school gave me the unique opportunity to be able to do that. I directed, I designed, I stage managed, I learned everything backstage. It was incredible. And I got hooked into traveling, and didn't know where I really wanted that to lead, so I went and got a job teaching English as a second language in Poland, and I did that for a few years, and then came back and worked around town in different theaters, trying to figure out if I could ever combine those two. And then I was working a production manager at Adventure Theater in town when one of my old teachers, when I was 8 years old, asked me if I wanted to teach a summer camp. And that camp was what made me realize I wanted to teach. I always tell the story. There was a little girl who walked in the first day, and she had to sing a song, which she was 6 years old, and she couldn't do it. She flat out refused. And we were doing Wonka, and I said, it's okay, you can be an Oompa Loompa. And then 2 weeks later in the performance, she got up, and she was like, wow. Smack center. And I started crying, and theater, professional theater becomes so much work and so hard, and you forget what you loved about it. But that kid, that moment, I was like, I want to do that. Well, at that time, I could only find a few programs that had an educational theater component just to get licensed as a theater teacher. My parents were like, it's NYU, go for it. So, and again, I walked in there thinking I want to be an international school, high school drama teacher. That's what I thought when I walked in. But when I went there, they exposed me to this incredible world of educational theater that I didn't even know existed. People who work with communities all over the world, people who work with underrepresented communities in prisons, and immigrant groups, and doing all sorts of kind of work that just border on the line of drama therapy. Incredible, inspiring stories of what people are doing and what is available out there. And I love that program. 2 years, we even went to Mexico and met a lot of people in Mexico working in applied theater, doing programs promoting languages that are dying out, helping people understand their human rights. The work that applied theater can do is incredible. And at NYU, I also did all the programs that you guys offer here, all my development and my certification and my student teaching. I was able to student teach at LaGuardia High School, the School for the Performing Arts. I learned so much working there. That was incredible too. Yeah. To be an international school drama teacher, they want 3 years of teaching experience. So I came down and taught for 1 year at a private school in Fredericksburg, which wasn't a great year because I don't know, I think like a lot of first-year teachers, you want to be perfect and you want everything to be perfect and you end up working yourself ragged. And that's, as an older teacher, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I was doing 2 shows at the same time. I was like, and I just was exhausted all year. Taiwan was looking for people, certified teachers, to teach within their public schools. So they were developing this new program. So I went to Taiwan, to this small town in the middle of nowhere, never been to Taiwan, never been to Asia. Where when I first walked in, the first graders dropped their jaws because they had never met a foreigner, and I, of course, am a foot taller than everybody there. And they said to me, we have this new program, and the government's coming in and doing a press conference in 3 weeks, and we have no idea what we're going to do, so have fun. Wow. And it was, the whole concept behind it was a English village where they have a restaurant, like a made-up restaurant and a supermarket, and the kids are supposed to use the language while interacting with these objects. I hadn't imagined to stay there very long, but I ended up staying there for 5 years. And I turned it all into a drama program, of course. I guess it's becoming a new thing, teaching English or teaching language through drama. It's a very powerful tool. And being a theater person, I said, let's put on a show. And there were a lot of people, a lot of expats in Taiwan, and I pulled together a group of people from South Africa, Canada, and another American, and I wrote a show. We toured elementary schools, so every week we would go to a new school, and that was exciting because not only had these kids not met foreigners, they probably had never seen live theater before. So it was an interesting play, very movement-oriented, because obviously they couldn't understand everything we were saying. But it was really fun and an amazing experience. We did the Golden Goose. We just took the Golden Goose and made it very physical. I had one of the actors had been a professional ballet dancer, so we had to like put in all their skills. And we had an introduction where they learned a little bit about us and our country, but just a simple story that they could follow. I was there for 5 years, and it became the point where either I'm there forever or so I always wanted to. So I moved to an international school where I'm teaching now in Macau, and I am teaching secondary drama. We have middle school drama classes and a high school drama class, and 2 after-school productions a year. It's an interesting mix of nationalities, which is a challenge, because you're not, usually if you're teaching based in a culture, well, we're not really based in a culture. The school has a Canadian curriculum, but the students are from all over the world, so it's a really interesting mix. They don't share, well, the only shared culture they have are movies, so like they'll know the modern stuff. So I can't say you all know the story of Cinderella, but they will all know Shrek, for example. It's also challenging because different cultures approach stories and approach storytelling. So that's a big challenge as a teacher, is how do you, whereas here that wouldn't be a problem. You kind of assume every kid is comfortable getting up, or not comfortable getting up, but they have played pretend, they have done that. Where the kids there, that's not a part of their culture, and storytelling is not as much a part of their culture as we have. So that's been an interesting challenge. But then again, at the other end, I have the most incredible students who are passionate and fun to work with. I'm a workaholic, so I have rehearsals every day because the kids are involved in lots of activities, so they can't come. So I schedule it as close as I can, and I pretty much get whoever I can, whenever I can. So I have my 3 classes and then all the other responsibilities as a teacher, and then I do these rehearsals. And the shows there are a lot of challenges to shows, as normal challenges for any teaching job shows. The challenges I face at the school are, because they are involved in activities, picking a show that fits their schedule is difficult. So I have to find a shorter show, or I've written a couple, and then finding ones that work with their talents, which is always a challenge when you're working at a smaller school. The biggest piece of advice is don't be afraid to go out and just do things. I went to a conference in Singapore at the beginning of the summer, and I was meeting people working in India with girls who've been victims of sexual abuse, and people who work with soldiers in the US, with soldiers who are returning and dealing with those issues. There is so much out there to do, and it's such an exciting field and such an exciting time to be in the field. I say don't limit yourself and just go for whatever you might be interested in. And since it's so new, there's nothing stopping anything, so just go for it.